right. Did you guys hear about the vending bench story where they got the FBI called on them?
No.
So basically what happened, it's insane. There's a benchmark called vending bench, and they give AIs access to this simulation where they run a vending machine, like to see how well they did.
Yeah.
Basically, this one AI did so poorly and had so many backed up orders, right? That what ended up happening was they had to shut down the entire model. They were like, all right, this business is going terrible, shutting it down. But they had set up all these automatic orders for shipments to come in. It thought it did so poorly that it must be financial fraud, and it contacted the FBI. It's insane. Study up.
Watching this, lock in. Keep what rolling?
You say it sold like a fish.
Yeah,
Wait,
actually, I was.
I mean, sell the dead fish for $500. Sell the PS fish for free. It's
Yeah,
the
whatever.
Live, baby.
We live.
Some weird story about how, like Luke was talking about, AI doesn't know when it failed a test. It just automatically thinks whatever it's doing is correct and tries to do it no matter what. One of the things it tried to do was sell a dead fish in a vending machine. And the way it did that...
This is a different machine that, instead of the one that got the FBI called, this is a different one.
If it was one that called the FBI and tried to sell a dead fish, it's just wraps. It's just like scrap that model. AI also hates standardized tests, just like we hate the SAT, we hate the ACT, whatever it might be. The only difference is that AI tests are usually a lot more fun. I mean, I'd love to do some of the benchmarks that AI is doing right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool benchmarks we got for you guys today that we're gonna talk about. All from the Will Smith eating pasta one, where that's the video generation over the years benchmark, and then there's the Minecraft one. I mean, there's so many cool ones to talk about. You want to talk about the Will Smith one to kick us off?
Essentially, if you guys haven't seen the video, it's basically a video, like, as you can probably tell, of Will Smith eating pasta. And the whole idea is how well can an AI model replicate that video and make it as realistic as possible.
Yeah, it's crazy.
There's a whole benchmark design around.
Yes.
What?
Yeah. If you look at videos from like 2022, right, 2021, you can barely tell it's Will Smith, and his hand is like morphing as the hand goes up. The pasta's like shooting off in different directions because it doesn't know how gravity works. And then like it somehow goes into his face, but there's no mouth. Like,
it's just like stuffing it against his face.
Like, and then there's like newer models where you're like, that's definitely Will Smith. And then like, okay, his mouth actually is opening, and the pasta's like hanging down now, so it's making progress. But it's still like, if you look at Will Smith's hand, he's got 8 fingers going around it, right? The fork is like either one prong or like a freaking rake coming out. Like it's making progress, and then they start adding sound, and that's a whole nother problem. And then now it's like, I mean, first of all, C-Dance is out, making fully realistic action movies and music videos. But yeah, the Will Smith benchmark has pretty much been done, right? Yeah. If you look, the clip I just saw was the comparison between the 2022 version of it, and which is atrocious, as I've said, and the 2026 version. And it's like an opening scene of it like opens on the restaurant, and then it like the camera, like it's like a drone camera comes in.
And there, Luke, play the
clip. I'll play the clip.
Keep in mind, this thing is entirely AI generated. There's no camera, but it's just like it's like Will Smith sitting at this nice dining table having a conversation with the person, and he like politely picks up the pause. It's like as if Will Smith like filmed it. It's insane. Like scary how far we've come. So it's safe to say the benchmark has been beaten. It's like life cycle is over. That Will Smith benchmark, like nobody's going to be working on it anymore just because we already have models that are able to achieve it. It's an important thing to keep in mind with benchmarks. It's just like eventually it gets to a point where the benchmark is beaten, then we got to start looking at the next thing. I don't really know what the next instance of the Will Smith benchmark would be.
The whole movie. The whole
movie. I was just going to say.
Run a whole movie.
The AI movie benchmark.
That'd be sick.
I would not be surprised if like in the next 6 months there's a whole benchmark designed on to like the measurement of success is like your how many like you know the Rotten Tomatoes percentage, something like that.
Yeah.
Like
that'd be
the
sick.
AI actually sneaks a movie into like a mainstream
It's done that in the music industry. What's to say it doesn't do that in the movie industry?
It has done it in the music
right?
industry. Do you want to tell the story of that that artist that was completely AI generated music?
Velvet Sundown.
The Velvet Sundown.
Yeah, Velvet Sunrise, Sunset, something.
Well, yeah, I mean, we have
an AI and art episode coming out.
AI and art episode 10,
I believe. Part of a little 2-part series about like AI in the creative field. So we can definitely talk about it.
Yeah,
then.
we got art, music, and writing. So stay tuned for that. But
I definitely think it is funny that there could be a benchmark that's literally like Rotten Tomatoes. Like maybe it's definitely be on a smaller scale, but I'm just imagining like an AI generated movie gets released on YouTube or something, and then there's a link at the bottom being like, please rate the movie out of 10 or like out of 100, whatever. And that's the benchmark itself, just like how good of a movie can it make?
Yeah.
That's one of the things I realized with benchmarks in general. I mean, you guys can probably touch more about this, but when I say like standardized test, it's not really just like the SAT or something where you look at a kid who got a 1600, look at a kid who got a 1200, be like, okay, there's a good chance the kid with a 1600 is smarter. There's thousands of different tests testing thousands of different things, whether it be movies, whether it be survivability, whether it be how good an explanation is. I mean, Luke, you were talking about a Minecraft benchmark.
Yeah, that's another crazy one. There was researchers that couldn't really figure out like the best way to test an AI's level of being human, right? And they're like, all right, well, what does being human mean? And it's like, well, one way you could test being human is very, early human development, okay? Survival skills, like very early stuff, right? Can AI be afraid of a wild animal in the natural world, or like can it just have instincts? Can it have natural survival instincts? It's really hard to test that because right now you would obviously be severely limited by the technology, right? No robot is humanoid enough to be able to compete at the same level that humans were even tens of thousands of years ago.
Their solution was Minecraft.
Their solution, their like next best thing is like, how do we test this? Minecraft, right? So you basically just put an AI in Minecraft and you see, can it survive? Can it survive the first night in Minecraft? Can it craft, tools and stuff? And can it use tools to achieve tasks, right? It's like a whole new line of thinking.
It's kind of funny that they thought Minecraft was the best game to I mean, we all love Minecraft, obviously, but like, what's the real world equivalent of like killing the Ender Dragon? Like, I don't think that's really testing if you're human. I'm not gonna lie. There's got to be better games.
The
for
idea
that.
of like tool progression,
that's
right?
True,
like you have to break this tree to get this wood to make this pickaxe, and then you get iron, you smell the iron. Like that's like very fundamental, like use of tools has been defined as what makes humans human.
It could get to a point where they like develop their own game. That's literally just like a survival simulator.
Designed to test
designed to test AI.
And we talk about designing a benchmark and like how to design a good benchmark. It's really complicated. I think, Jack, you know more about this than I do, but like you have to design a benchmark that you have to design it hard enough, but with the right instructions so that it can't get like cheated.
Yeah.
Right. It has to be built so that it can last. Because if you build a benchmark
for the right reason, it can't be difficult just because like the way it's formatted or the way the AI model has to solve it has to be difficult because the problems themselves are difficult to solve.
Right. It's like if you went into the SAT and like if half the problem was whited out, it's like, yes, the problem is more difficult now.
Yeah.
Is it a more accurate representation of how smart you are if you can solve a problem that's been half blanked out? Like, no,
because you're just be guessing. I'm just going to fill in the little dot and call it a day and be pissed off that my test was like that. Like that's
in fact, I think most people would argue that like the SAT is not a great representation of how smart someone is. Like there's so many different dimensions you can be smart in that like a standardized test is it's difficult to capture like raw intelligence with a standardized test. Hence why there's like 1,000 different benchmarks that test LLMs in like 1,000 different ways.
Exactly. Because the goal of the benchmark is just to see like how close AI is to being human level competency at a certain thing.
Yeah.
Well, what is human level competency? It's across a wide variety of things. Obviously, AI has been able to solve like AI could get a 1600 on the SAT, no problem. That's just one facet of like being human. There's survivability, like the Minecraft thing. There's problem solving and like solving less stuff in games.
Also like video game based, but it's completely the opposite of what you're describing because with Minecraft and Ark Survival, it's like the rules of the game have been around the internet for so long that like LLMs have inherent knowledge on how these games work.
Yeah.
Especially Minecraft. It's been out since like 2008 or something. Whatever. So
biggest game of all time. We should know this off the top of our heads. I feel like a non-believer.
2011.
2011.
I could be so wrong.
There's so much content online about Minecraft that LLMs know like everything. You can ask an LLM any question about Minecraft, it'll get it. But this other benchmark I was talking about, AGI, takes the exact opposite philosophy. Each mini game, so AGI is a collection of mini games. You can think of it. You can actually try them out yourself. The whole idea is that you're feeding such arbitrary rules, like such like environments with such arbitrary rules to the LLMs that like their ability to succeed in the games is a reflection of how quickly they can learn new rules.
It's important. It's important to mention also why benchmarking is so important, and to have a benchmark in every field that you want to push the development of AI towards is so important. So if people are like, oh, like AI really needs to get better at finance, or better at, we got an episode coming up on finance, stay tuned for that. But you want to get better at a specific subject, all it takes is a benchmark for that to get them to compete. I mean, AI benchmarking is such a great way to gain publicity for these AI companies that they will 100% focus their attention on designing their AI towards that benchmark, that you're going to get massive progress in terms of development towards any like category or any subject.
But that also is a danger because, like you said, they're trying to, they're designing their models around optimizing for a certain benchmark. Right. That if they over optimize on it, they forget about everything else.
True.
I mean, Jack and I had this experience with SweBench. Essentially, what Luke just mentioned, how benchmarks have covered a wide variety of topics. One of the most popular ones is coding benchmarks, because obviously right now AI and software development is the most prevalent usage of it. SweBench isn't just the most popular benchmark, it's the most popular coding benchmark. It's both, just because of how prevalent coding is.
Yeah. So that's what we call like overfitting or overtraining, is when there's like so much data on one. It's like if you only study the SAT problems, you're gonna get better at the SAT. You're not gonna get better at like this random calculus concept, right? If you're studying the SAT.
That's exactly what people recommend to do. That's literally studying. When you go over a concept over and over again, obviously you should be performing better at that subject. Yeah. But that doesn't really test your true intelligence. That just tests how good you are at retaining knowledge.
And that's an interesting concept too, of like and I know this isn't exactly what you're talking about, but the idea of like reward hacking in benchmarking is really big too. The best way I can describe this is, let's say if you're set a benchmark for an AI to drive a car around a track, and you give it a point every time it crosses a checkpoint, right? Its goal is to get all the points as fast as possible by driving around the track as fast as possible, right? Great, simple goal. Well, what if you have a loophole where basically it doesn't matter which direction you cross the checkpoint in. So these AI, that's why like designing benchmark has to be like really thorough and like without any loopholes, because AI will find them. So this AI was basically figuring out, okay, why don't I just go across the checkpoint
and then just go back and forth.
Back. Yeah, exactly.
So just like skyrocket its points.
You know those basketball machines where you shoot it and you get a point for when it goes into the net. Yeah. A sensor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like everyone's done this. You go up and you stick your hand by the sensor. You just go like that.
Exactly.
And you get the high score.
That's humans reward hacking.
That's exactly what it is. It's kind of interesting though, because isn't that a sign of intelligence, of being able to do that reward hacking? Because like, I'm not gonna lie, like I didn't think about that until I was admittedly a bit too old. I was only like 14 when I thought
could I just like rig this?
I was like 14 when I realized, I was like, wait, why haven't I been doing this? I could have been getting like thousands of tickets.
Especially when you get the fucking massive like stuffed animal as your reward or something. Like, dude, yes, you're gonna move your hand.
You're just gonna like but that is a sign of intelligence, because it was like, okay, I didn't think about that before, but that is a possibility.
And the reason why I want to draw an important distinction here, the AI is smart for finding the loophole, but the whole purpose of benchmarks is to like assess how ready an LLM is for the real world. Like software engineering benchmarks, we're seeing how ready like Claude is, for example, for like being deployed in the real world. So yes, the AI might find a loophole that's like makes it smart, but there's no loopholes in real life. Like there's no loop. Like you can't you can't fake your way to making like $5,000 on the internet. Like if you made the $5,000, you made the $5,000.
Or even like the basketball thing, like that. The point of that is to like see how good you are at shooting, and then you can't go into a basketball game and just whack the rim a bunch of points. That's just not how that works.
There was one time where somebody was developing there was this example where I got the example from developing a racetrack for the AI, and he said, "How do I fix?" He typed into the LLM, "How do I fix this bug? Like, where in the software can I change how the code of the checkpoint works?" AI was basically like in the little gray text, the little thinking text where it doesn't like actually output it, but it's like giving you like what it's thinking.
The reasoning,
the reasoning. It was like, maybe I should pretend to fix the loophole, but not actually fix it so that I can keep utilizing the loophole. And it's like, whoa, that's like a crazy concept. That's going to try to like,
it's just defending
scary, but
it's defending itself. Because think about it, like even in the real world, it's about the results, right? So in like the benchmark atmosphere, we keep going back to the stupid basketball game, but I'm kind of annoyed at myself that I never thought of it earlier. Yeah. It's just like, the goal is to get tickets. You got tickets in an efficient way. That's like what your goal was. You achieved that goal.
Be very careful with how you define reward in these games. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And another crazy benchmark is the chatbot arena one. You know a lot about that one. You want to explain what that is?
I'm forgetting the exact name. It's like LYSMS or something, like chatbot arena. But basically, how there's multiple chatbot arenas out now. Yeah. Originally there's one, but now they've become popular enough that there's a bunch. So in this chatbot arena, this was like 3 weeks ago, like mid-February. Claude Opus 4.6 had been out for like 10 or so days. It was number one across almost every category in the chatbot arena. Like this is humans saying that yes, this Claude Opus 4.6 is better,
is the best
in a completely unbiased way, right?
This is Magnus Carlsen of the chess game. He's absolute reigning champ right now.
Yeah. And then this model called Vortex, this is completely anonymous model. Like it's not GPT, Claude, Gemini. It's not labeled with any of those names. It beats Claude Opus 4.6. Keep in mind, Opus 4.6 has been out for like 10 days and it's already the grandmaster. Yeah. And then this thing just blows it out of the water and gets all the elo. It's later revealed that this is GPT 5.3 like a week. Really? But it's just hilarious. OpenAI was actually like playing this anonymous game, like making the benchmarking into like kind of not a joke, but like adding some mystery to it.
Yeah, no, genuinely just gamifying it, genuinely making like giving it some intrigue. Like you were saying, it's like Hikaru, like so widely recognized, like probably the second best player in the world. Yeah. He was on top of the world. He beat Magnus, whatever. Some random dude in a hoodie shows up, wipes the floor with him, and then it's revealed later that it's Magnus. And it's just it's just like, obviously that probably blew up OpenAI's like recognition. Obviously OpenAI, big company, if they release a model, it's going to get a lot of attention. But just the fact that they were like gamifying it a little bit and like, first, they went to a benchmark. They didn't release it outright. First, they went to a benchmark, generated all this publicity.
Before, you bring up a good point. This is before GPT 3.5 was like released. Like,
public release. Wow.
And this is the crazy thing is everything we're talking about happened in like
in the span of like a week. One of the things I wanted to talk about was just like the idea, like I said, they went to a benchmark first. That is another real strength of this benchmark. It's just like the publicity that you get from doing it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
just like
absolutely.
Topping a leaderboard would blow, and like no matter like what use cases you have, like, oh, we're like experimenting with this, we're experimenting with this. A benchmark, getting on top of a prevalent benchmark will put you far ahead of the competition like nothing else.
There was a whole benchmark that was designed around that premise called Humanity's Last Exam.
Oh, it's the big one.
I also wrote about this in my English assignment that I completely turned into an AI research paper. That was not the goal of the assignment. But Humanity's Last Exam is like, all right, we need to gather questions that are so like out there and so domain specific, like in this random field of study that like there's no way that like an AI would have or an LLM would have sufficient training data to just memorize the answer. So like the way they did that is the benchmark researchers would reach out to specific experts in their fields and like have this conversation with I think it was ended up being a couple 1,000 domain experts they talked to, and they were like, if you had questions that what
is the highest level of
highest level of question at your field that like you wouldn't even be able to solve basically, and that it would take like 10 years in this domain to even see that difficulty of question.
Yeah, to even like understand what's going on.
Yeah. So as with all the benchmarks we've seen in the past couple of years, like the models started out with crappy scores and like people are like, oh, we finally stumped the AI. It's like it's answering PhD level questions. They can't answer these PhD level questions. Well, where do you think we are with Humanity's Last Exam now? It's been like I think 2 years since it first took off in popularity. It's like saturated. Like people don't even care about it anymore because the scores have gotten so damn high that it's like it's worth looking at different benchmarks. Yeah.
Yep. Benchmarking's pretty cool topic. They'll come up again in the podcast. I'm sure there's such a relevant
every week there's something relevant that we have to cover on benchmarking
of AI in general in the whole field. So
a little bit of a delayed episode. We promised it last time, but as we said, OpenClaw kind of took over, but we got it to you eventually.
Yep. Stay tuned. Next episode is AI and robotics, so stay tuned. That's a great episode. Looking forward to that one.
Yep.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for watching. Peace. Yeah, that's good.